Of course. Welcome, everybody. It would help if I turned my camera on. Welcome to World Online Racing, and for the next instalment of the mystery season, it is round 6. And I'm joined once again by Bobbits. Bobbits, welcome along for this one. It looks like you've taken another point over me for the track tonight.
Indeed, unfortunately for you, I have, 6 predictions and 2 correct guesses for me. It's like a football score, 2-0 up already, and it's looking likely that I will be taking all 3 points if there's such a thing going at the end of this, our guessing season of what tracks we're going to be having. But yeah, we are now into the second half of the season. This is round 6, and we are under the lights in Qatar. Was predominantly a MotoGP circuit, now being used by the F1 drivers. A very fast-flowing circuit, I think it's fair to say, minus a couple of little hairpins. But yeah, I think personally it's a great track to drive, but just not one for overtaking, but hopefully might be proved wrong tonight.
Well, hopefully. Fingers crossed, let's say. The drivers are flooding out on track for early doors here. To get, I'm assuming, an extra lap in qualifying. But the standings, 7 points now separate Uncle and Snack, with Dirk, Quantum and Silo and Volakongan languishing about 40 points further adrift. We mentioned pre-stream. Is it a two-horse race? Oh, sorry, excuse me. 2-horse race for the championship. But I think maybe if Uncle and Snack both retire, let's say here, and any of the other drivers behind take the initiative and take the victory, it might open it back up.
Certainly, yes, especially last week's winner, Volakongan, being one of those drivers. Obviously, he had a little bit of fortune with the VSC coming out the correct time for him, and managed to get the move done on Snack in the end, and just held him off, obviously, to the end of the race and took victory. Snack did, very well, to stick with him, considering he had those couple of older tyres, but nothing was denying Volakongan that race victory last week in Hungary. And again, going with the theme in terms of, swapping between a tight, twisty circuit, whether it's a street circuit or in the case of Hungary, just tight in nature, to now back to a fast-flowing circuit once again. Trying to keep the drivers on their toes, I guess you could say so. But yeah, for last week's winner, Volakongan is the first driver out on track. He's just done the first sector. And in my opinion, considering his teammate Otsuzito in the other Williams is in the better-looking livery. I don't know about you, Warden, but I think the all blue is better than the blue and white.
I'm going to switch between the two. Yeah,
he needs to have a look.
Yeah, Volakongan's, I think, is I don't know, the white nose just throws me off a little bit. It kind of reminds me of, I don't know, just not the Williams car that we are used to, I suppose, of recent. Maybe a bit more like a weird mashup between Williams and Haas. But anyway, Volakongan's just round the final corner to set their banker lap. 14 minutes on the clock, and it's 1 minute 20.3 to start things off here in qualifying for them. But Otsuzito immediately takes that back.
Indeed, he does. Yes, as one of Kick Sauber's goes into the pits, it must have been validated somewhere. Same with the racing, but this track is very easy to either to corner cut or track extend. Track extend in particular on near enough every single corner. Most prominently, as Silo goes quickest by 2/10 to Otsazito, coming into the double right in the first sector. You can easily run the car too wide, either on the first or second part. And yeah, that's just two of many corners that easily can be done, especially as well through sector 3 as well. Snack went into P3 there. A lot of drivers either abandoned or just not setting lap times. A case of invalidating or just not happy with their lap times at all. And I've never seen anything like it. I mean, Melwin's actually just starting a lap, so I can discount him. But yeah, 4 drivers only have set a lap time. Quite a few are in the pits. Some are heading back to the pits. Adrian actually completes his lap time and goes P5, but a quarter of a second down of Volakongan. Now Fana Spinoda goes behind him. So yeah, drivers seem to be struggling. Some just wanting to get at least a banker in there. Maybe take it a little easy, but yeah, like I said, just so easy just to, like I said, invalidate your lap time around here, and I think it's going to be precedent for the race as well with their time penalties.
Definitely, there's lots of track extensions or overcut, undercut, well, whatever you want to call it, cutting corners, which will cost them big time. Uncle completely messes up, I think, at turn 15, and then just pushes into the pits. Melwin, I think you mentioned, was on a lap, but I think
he is on a lap.
Yeah, coming through turn 15 now themselves, and it's that white line on the exit of turn 15. You can get away with track extending to a degree, but not too much.
Yeah, it's a bit poor, if I'm honest. I mean, I'm just looking at it. I mean, he may have just had a tyre on the line by the minutest of amounts there as he goes into P5, just ahead of his new VNT teammate of Ward's there as he moved teams recently. So yeah, they're currently occupying the 3rd row of the grid as it currently stands. So 9 drivers now set a lap time. 11 though have yet to still do that, and if someone told me that less than half the grid was set a lap time on their first initial runs, I actually might have said that wouldn't have surprised me too much, really, considering the nature of this track. Dirk is the next driver to go for attempt number 2. Currently P3 in the standings is SCI's Dirk. Want to bounce back from last week, only a 10th place finish last week, so we'll certainly want to try and rectify that. But Warder, since we're bored with Dirk, why do you take us for a lap? Since you always tell me now it's your turn.
I'll do the best I can, but that's because I'm not as knowledgeable as you as they head through turns 2 and 3 now, wanting to just soft movements on the steering wheel into there, and a heavy braking of, I say heavier braking into 4 and 5 as you just roll the car around and just let the car follow what the track should feel like, really, at those 2 corners. That's through the hairpin of 6 and then towards 7, which is more of a let off of the accelerator than braking too heavily, as you then come through the I suppose the S's of 8, 9 and then into 10, where famously about this time last year Thomas Ronhoff threw his car up the inside to try and keep himself in a championship fight. Turns 12, 13 and 14, again, it's pretty much flat out, maybe not in 8th gear, but maybe in 7th, as all the way through into 15, and the back end snaps for Dirk. That's not ideal for the Shizou driver for their second run at things, but I think they're just going to go through turn 16, set the lap on the board, and it's P2, so that snap didn't affect them too much.
Yeah, it might have cost him maybe a couple of hundreds perhaps, if that at all, but yeah, a decent lap from Dirk. His first sector in particular was very good, and yeah, slots into P2 at the moment, just behind reigning champion, that is Silo, who's just starting his latest attempt. Kevin Zumberg is just coming through the final sector at the moment, down in P20 and last, but obviously still one of several drivers yet to still complete or set a representative lap time, as that is Misha going into P3 there in the Kick Sauber, the Haas going into the pit, so Kevin will be the next person to set a lap time, and it is a clean lap time at least, but where's it going to be? It's down in P13 at 120.7, 6.5 tenths near enough off Silo there, and a lot of work to do for the Red Bull man. Anybody else about to finish a lap? It does look like I think that's Simrox one starting a lap. And David going into the boxes, he's invalidated once again. So again, still some drivers having difficulty here.
Yeah, it's not ideal. Is that 7 drivers there really struggling with this one? I think Uncle's just starting their lap time. And with it being the nature of this track as well, being such a little bit tighter and but more difficult to overtake, if you say have your teammate, and I've noticed this in team events very, very much on this, is if you've got your teammate backing you up down that start-finish straight, then you know what? That you're probably more than likely taking victory, as Silo goes quicker still, a 1:19.9. And I've seen Silo do that. Otsazito goes second with a 1:20.0. Simbarox one has invalidated their lap again. And this is not becoming an ideal evening for Simbarox one after a relatively, what was it, P5 last time out?
It was indeed, yeah, and again another driver helped out by the VSC by not pitting, but yeah, still a decent result there for Simrox one in his top tier for him. So, but yeah, down in P18, not set a lap time yet. Needs to get his skates on. There, Snack has gone into P5, current second place driver in the championship. And obviously he's still looking to try and close down Tony as he can, who rounds the final corner. He's on a valid lap time this time around, but where's it going to be? It's P7 only. I think maybe just a little cautious with it, perhaps, just to make sure he got a time on the board. He's got time to obviously get back to the pits. Maybe only got enough time to do one more run. So just have to go hell for leather there to try and promote himself a little bit higher up the grid if he can. Just try to see if anyone's on a lap. Wards has invalidated, even though he's a 10th up through the first sector, and could maybe have done that through the double right there of 4 and 5. Ray is also invalidated. Has Monza getting on? He's also invalidated. I think that's his 3rd attempt at setting a lap time. So yeah, still some drivers finding it difficult. Some though a little bit less so, but it looks like we're in that point now where it is a bit of a lull. Apart from maybe Melwin, or has he finished his lap?
I think Melwin's
the answer is,
started.
oh, he's up. He's a 10th and a half up. I take my words back. He's a 10th and a half up through the first sector.
Yeah, let's see what the VNT driver can do. And obviously, as you mentioned earlier as well, new teammate Wards alongside him in the Ferrari as well. It's an interesting one for Melwin, because we kind of expected a little bit. He started strong, but then just hasn't managed to continue with that momentum.
Indeed, yeah, there was the promise with him, and perhaps just a little bit of not had the luck maybe, but then has also been, I think, you go back to, I think it was Baku in particular, and he had a chance and just couldn't keep his nose out the wall. So yeah, but there is still time for him to rectify that, as he almost runs too wide at the final corner, almost invalidated. But what has been a good lap here, but unfortunately lost a little bit of time in that final sector, and what could have been better than P6. In fact, if you find 400s in P3 and you're ahead of Dirk, and in the end he's levelled with Snack in terms of lap time. Obviously he goes behind due to him setting it second, but it is still Silo who leads the way by nearly a 10th and a half over Altazito, who's been my dark horse for this season. And again, another driver not really lived up to the potential or the possibility.
No, it's a shame, but again, could right that. Well, plenty of time to right the wrongs, I suppose, of this season. Maybe out of the championships swing, but has a chance to get themselves into the swing of things for the second half of the season, let's say. David, around the final corner, they can finally set a lap time this evening, and as it's crossed the line, and it's up into P7, not quite good enough at the moment. I think Nicholas maybe just starting a lap time. Quantum invalidated, I know that much. Was Epic Vale coming across the line? It is up into P12 for Epic Vale. Monza, Quantum, Simbarox one, and Nicholas then yet to set lap times as... well, I can't see how long left of the session, as Nicholas has actually invalidated. So we just see their back end snap out crazily there. Melwin. Well, look at Misha, Snack and Melwin separated by well, I don't even know how to describe how close that is.
Too close, in fact. So yeah, two 1000s separating the three drivers, and two of them with the same lap time. Misha was actually going quicker until he invalidated going through the exit of turn 10. So that is him. I think that's his qualifying over done with. I don't think he's going to have enough time to go again. Certainly not going to have the battery, so it's going to be P4 at best for the Kick Sauber. Snack is just starting his final attempt, as is Otsazito, who's behind him, and Silo is in between the pair of them. So the top 3 of the top 5 are together on track. Dirk is done for the day for the qualifying, as obviously is Misha and Melvin. Still some drivers out on track on outlaps as well. Is there anybody on a lap though? That is the question. The answer is Kevin Zumberg actually has finished his lap and has improved, but only to P14. Quantum has gone again, but is invalidated again. So Quantum is not going to set a lap time, and he's going to be starting towards the back of the field. It's 18th at best, unless Simbarox won and Nicholas improved. But Nicholas is invalidated. He's back in the bits. He will start stone dead last with 3 minutes 40 to go. Simbarox won starting his final attempt. But again, just want to see, is there anybody further up the track that is actually on a lap that... there we go. Well, both Mercedes are quite close together in the first sector, but I'm going to go on board with Tony, who's down in P10 now, but a 10th gain there in the first sector.
Silo is half a tenth up in their second sector split, just behind, but has invalidated. Crucially, Volakonga goes second. Where's Otsazito in all this? Just behind Silo, aren't they? There through the final corner. Otsazito pits, Snack goes third, and Tony then, or Uncle, is a 10th up, but that's only enough to put them, it's still back into 7th place.
It is, but look at that, he's now 2/10 up come the end of the middle sector, and this at the moment is enough to put him ahead of Dirk, but behind Otsazito. He's got to get in amongst those top 3 if he can. Monza obviously had invalidated his lap time, so one Mercedes driver is done for qualifying. It's 17th at best for him, but where is the championship leader going to go at the end of this lap? And it is P4, but he's behind the trio of SCI drivers, so a bit of work to do there for Tony, but he's got a lap at least on the board. Simbrox won, P15 for him, gets a lap time on in the end, but not a substantial one at that. Ward's 2/10 up, but has invalidated. Adrian has also invalidated. I think that is qualifying. No, we've still got 2 minutes left, actually. What am I talking about? I'm talking absolute nonsense. There is still time. Obviously, those who have just finished their laps, they are finished, but Silo, crucially, is able to go out again.
Yeah, Silo, and I think maybe it was Otsazito darted into the pits to abandon their lap. So plenty of time for them to do something. Who's that? Is that Snack at the final corner? It is. They're going in. So that's Uncle, I think, heading through there. Simba Rocks one. So is it Dirk? It is.
It Dirk, is Dirk, yeah.
Possibly going to be the final, the start of the final runners here, as I believe we're going to get a restart after this because of tyre wear.
I believe so, yes, I think you're right. Oh my word, we're going side by side between Epic Vale and who else but Silo. Now, we know what happened between them two last week. We won't go into that, but yeah, them two going side by side trying to get track position. There's not long left on the clock, and yeah, the drivers are trying to get their way to start their laps without anyone in their way. Dirk, like you said, is going to be the first driver to set a lap time here. Out of those who can go, again, closely followed by the Haas of David. So it's 6th and 9th who go first. Dirk, third in the standings at the moment, flings the car into turn 1. His first sector generally has been pretty good. It's the second and third sectors he needs to find the time a bit more so as the car gets very unsettled. Tail happy at the exit at 2 there. Might have cost him a bit of time, but he's still got to keep pushing. He's got to keep going through 4 and 5. Again, a bit tentative. Took 2 bites there to turn the car in. Bit of understeer. And as a result, he's over a 10th down in that first sector. As I said, what's been his best sector. I might have actually jinxed him there, Warder. And if I have, I am very sorry, Dirk. But commentator's curse. Maybe there is such a thing.
Maybe indeed, as I seem to remember at Meta, there's an invalidation.
Oh, well, there we go.
If I ever saw one. David is on an outlap, so David is not into the wall.
Interesting. Yeah, that is indeed the wall. So Nicholas is the next driver. So he might not actually start last here if he gets a lap time on the board. 56.5 coming in the middle sector isn't too shabby, but I mean, again, as we say every week, look how clustered and congested it is in that midfield. You know, Dirk on a 20.16 to oh well, he's invalidated. Never mind. I take that back. That's the second drive in a row now. I have done that too, so I do apologise. But how is the current pole man looking at the moment through the middle sector? And Silo is just under a 10th up, but Otsazito is coming to the final corner now. Can he split that SCI pack at the front? He's P5 as it currently stands, but it's going to be his provisional pole by 5,000, and Otsazito takes pole, and Silo's invalidated somewhere, and I've missed it. Is he going to be a steal at the end?
It could very well be. It would have been even quicker, unsurprisingly, for Silo. Quantum does manage to not finish last. Kevin Zunenberg then across the line goes 14th. Is that qualifying? That is qualifying done. Dusted for this evening. 14th place for Kevin there, and Silo 2 times at the end to take to cement pole and failed on both occasions. Otsazito, though, will take pole, and Silo will start alongside them on the front row of the grid. Volokongan and Snack, the other 2 Shazoo drivers, will start on the second row of the grid, with Uncle in 5th, the championship leader, and Dirk in 6th place. Misha in 7th, 8th to Melwin, David in 9th, 10th is Schumacher rounding out that top 10. Then you had Ray Wintz, Adrian, Epic Vale, Zunneberg, Wards, Quantum, Simba Oxwan, Fana Spinoda, and Monza and Nicholas unable to set qualifying laps, which just shows that we may get a penalty or 2 this evening.
Indeed, yes, and I think a penalty or 2 is actually a bit light-headed there, maybe, or definitely underestimated. I think we might get quite a few, considering as well in Hungary we got a few more than what I thought, perhaps. In fact, I think didn't one driver get 3 or 4 penalties last week, if memory serves me right. I might be wrong with that, but I thought somebody may have done. But either way, yeah, if last week something to go off, then yes, certainly drivers are going to find it difficult here tonight. But yeah, we do expect the drivers to restart, obviously, well, to go into the race, retire, and then set everything up again as usual. So there may be a little 5-minute break in between. But yeah, good qualifying there. And well, I say finally, but it's good to see that at least my dark horse for the season, it may have taken till round 6, but he's at least now finally got his pole position.
That is a good start. Good start. A good sign, at least, for them, as we just see the absolute carnage going on. Thankfully, viewers at home don't get to see that, because they would think that this is a little bit of a weird league, maybe Destruction Derby, but it's not, as hopefully they'll retire soon enough. My goodness me, it's all going off. Let's go back to the standings. Something more important than watching the carnage that is going on there. It's Uncle that leads away by 7 points. I know we've already, well, spoke about it briefly, but I mean, is it down to one of those 2?
I mean, with such a short season, some people, you might arguably say yes, that is the case. But we know what happened last season with Silo, obviously, you know, by winning those 4 races in a row, and then, you know, just having good form towards the end of the season, did manage to, you know, overhaul a massive amount of points to still win the championship. So never say never, especially, you know, with the current reigning champion, who obviously does start P2 tonight. So I wouldn't discount him just yet, but he needs a little bit of luck, whether if it is via a VSC or a safety car or some DNFs. Certainly he's going to need them throughout the second half of the season. But yeah, maybe you could say that is, as long as Tony and Snack keep it clean, and just keep, again, the consistent results coming in, as they have done all season, near enough, then yeah, you could say that it is. But there's still plenty of time. There's still, you know, anything can happen week in, week out. You know, you only have to look in, you know, back at week 1 where Silo crashed on lap 1 at the Nouvelle Chicane. Somebody could easily do that again.
Yeah, it's really quite easy to do, and with the penalty situation, that's a possible possibility tonight as well. That can change the whole landscape of things. Especially, just imagine, Silo leading the way, and then on the final few laps, with the DRS train, picks up a 3-second time penalty. They'll drop down the order.
Exactly, yeah, and that's the thing. It's a case of it could easily just fall down so many places, and unless obviously you can get that removed, then it's quite likely, or indeed very likely, that you'll end up further down the field and not where you want to be. But that's down to the drivers to keep their noses clean, and that's why we love commentating rather than going out on track. I mean, well, I say that I've been racing for that many years. I don't know, but at the same time, it's nice to have a break and just watch everyone else cause mayhem and destruction. But yeah, have this little bit of an interlude now before we get back out onto the track. So maybe we'll do it a little bit earlier this time, Warder. Prediction for win.
Prediction for oh my goodness, yeah, prediction for win. A Silo. I the pace and the control that they can dictate in a race. I think Silo's a good shout as long as they're not involved in incidents. Otsazito, any of the Shazoo guys, to be honest, they're all in with an opportunity tonight. But I'm going to stick my neck on the line for Silo this evening. How about yourself?
So he's going to go for the man in P2. I am going to go for the man that is starting in. I was actually going to say Otsazito, then thought I'd be boring, but I'm thinking, no, I'm not. I'm going to go for the Sky second place in the championship, and that is Snack.
Fair enough. And, well, that will be perfect for Snack to, well, hopefully claim the lead of the championship. 7 points behind Tony, Uncle, however we're going to call them. For this one, and there's I'm on the season 23 calendar right now, as we look and see, as apparently you're going to take the victory, Roberts, in the chat.
Hey, that'd be great if I could. To be fair, actually, but not this game, because in this game I've been terrible. But on previous, Qatar was actually a good track for me. So yeah, maybe of the last game, perhaps I could have done. But certainly not this game. But yeah, I mean, if you want to predict me for the win, get somebody give me a car, and yeah, I'll just make sure everyone else crashes and retires, so then I do win.
Fair. We can script that into the game. It's not a problem at all. So there we have it on the calendar. We've got 6 ticks on the board, ready, done, and dusted, and it means after tonight we've only got 4 rounds remaining. So we're pretty much past the halfway point of the season now as well, which just makes the standings that little bit more crucial. Tonight really does matter for Dirt, Quantum, Silo and Volakongan. If either one of those 4 want to really mount a charge, this is the race to do it.
It is, however, one of them, and that one person in particular being a Quantum, has got a lot of work to do. Had a very difficult qualifying, starts towards the back end of the grid, and yeah, if he wants to have any chance of any fighting chance throughout the rest of the season, yeah, he needs to have the race of all races, which is no easy feat. That it could. I mean, something could go his way. You never know, but he's going to have some outrageous strategy or some outrageous pace and overtaking if he's to have, any chance on being able to get a good result here tonight, let alone even get a points finish. But yeah, I've just seen now it was Ron in the chat saying Bobberts for the dub. But it's very kind of you, Ron. Being a fellow SCI man like I am, but so perhaps a little bit biased. What's that these days? But no, I'm certainly not going to be winning any races in the near future. But instead we get to watch these 20 amazing drivers, and let's see what they can bring.
See, indeed, as the countdown time is on for this lot, and I will do one message from our sponsors just to give us a little bit of a breathing time before lights out. Let us know in the chat, though, who you think is going to take victory tonight. You've had our predictions. Not necessarily expert opinion from my side, but maybe more on Bobberts. But we'll just hear from the sponsors. I'll be back in a moment. Welcome back, everybody, as we just wait for the drivers to choose their strategy and their setups for this evening. And, well, if anything that I know goes to plan, that front left will take a little bit of a battering, maybe not too much. Medium hard strategy this evening, Bobbits, is that the way forward?
I mean, it would be if we weren't banning hard tyres.
Oh God, yeah.
So no is the answer to that. It will be a soft medium in that case. I think that's what I'm going to bank on. But yeah, the tyres, like you said, the front left in particular, especially those on a controller, is going to take an absolute pounding here tonight. The soft tyres are not going to last 4 or 5 laps, I think, at best, before they decide that they've had enough. And then, yeah, get on those mediums and take them as long as you can, 11, 12 laps, at a time. I think that's probably about doable. So, yeah, it's going to be a fun one for these drivers to see, keep those well, not just that, but also keep their engine temperatures cool as well. Obviously, you're sticking with the car in front of you for such a long time. Engine temps are going to easily be well over 130 degrees, and you're going to lose that little bit of power. So yeah, don't be surprised if you see some cars, especially down the pit straight, move over to one side just to cool their car slightly.
So yeah, we might see an awful lot of that actually tonight. I'm not sure how I've forgotten about the hard tyres ruling, considering it's written in front of me as well at the top of the page. But we are on the lights here in Qatar, and we are on 5, and it's away we go. And it looks like a pretty good start actually from from Volokongan, sorry, as trying to go defensive straight away as Otsazito Buxilo goes up the inside. A little bit of snap because they are on the curb and they're still side by side, but there's incident in behind because of Schumacher. Yellow flags waving, but Otsazito still leads, and Uncle and Dirk didn't swap positions in the end. And there's more incidents with Monza, Wards and Schumacher. Oh my goodness, what is going on in the background?
The midfield, it all started between Schumacher and Epic Vale initially, I believe. And then, Kevin and Monza come into blows of their own accord. And once again, Kevin being caught out on lap 1 for the second week running. And he's now 5 seconds off the of Monza. And there's still battling going on. That's Fala Spinoda trying to make a double move there. And he got it done in from P12 to P10 goes the McLaren man. And he's actually had a fantastic start. He has avoided the carnage because he's up 8 places already through the first half a lap, from 18th to 10th. That is how you do it on lap 1. That is Fernando Alonso-esque. And if anybody else wants to come and think you can think of a driver better at doing something like that, you are just completely wrong. Fernando is the best driver to do something like that. Maybe not in a McLaren, but certainly in his yesteryears of a Ferrari, and he's now all over the back of David here. So Fanna Spinoda looking good. It's Ottozito who still leads the way. The top 9 have stayed in the same positions as to where they started, and obviously, yeah, Fanna Spinoda, the first driver to have gained as many places as he has done. Bit of fanning out already though between some of these drivers to already try and cool their engines down. That is Ray Wins trying to defend from Adrian. They're going through turns 1 and 2, and Kevin has decided that he's had enough already, and we're down to 19 runners and riders, and it's only lap 2.
Kind of unsurprising for Kevin, who's been a little bit, as there's not carbon fibre, there's foam board going everywhere because someone's gone off the track a little bit at the exit of turn 5. That was quite entertaining seeing that go flying off into the distance. But yeah, Ray Wintz, it feels like they're being pushed around this track by Adrian right now. Has a look up the inside. That's very, very audacious, and ended up pulling out Adrian and then picks up a penalty.
Yeah, he just cut the corner there. Thought there was a move going on there down the inside there, and in the end backs out of it because he was nowhere near alongside enough, and as a result cut the corner, and that is him done. And that is that. Now he's taken out the polystyrene board coming through the exit of turn 14 there, so Adrian's gonna have to be careful here. And then we said about penalties coming for the drivers. I didn't think it would take a lap and a half before we'd have our first 3-second time penalty, but we do, and it goes to the hands of the racing bull of Adrian trying to get a move done on Ray Wintz. Only 3 drivers on the medium compound tyre. That is Quantum, Nicholas and Wards. The rest of the grid on soft tyres. Interestingly, Monza set the fastest lap of the race there, down in P19, so just showing the clean air doing his job. Yes, probably a bit of battery usage as well as he tries to close in on the pack, which he is doing quite comfortably. But again, just shows clean air, what it can do to you, and that is why Ottozito leads the way. Still being hounded though by SCI's Silo, Volakongen and Snag. Uncle there, it's still in P5 ahead of Dirk. He is kind of the meat in the sandwich in some respects between all of these drivers, but he's going to have to get some moves done, and especially to the likes of his current main championship rival, who's 1 place ahead of him.
Yeah, not ideal if your uncle Schumacher, another driver feeling like they're, or looking like they're pushing the driver ahead of him, and I think that's finally Adrian getting past Ray for the battle for P11. Maybe not.
Nope. Bit of lag.
Wow.
There was you thinking there was a move. No.
Poor old Adrian.
No, unfortunately he had that little bit of lag, or Ray had a bit of lag, and that was it. And, well, there we go. There's again a driver pulling out of the toe, as it were. That is Dirk trying to cool his car down a bit. Melvin getting close to the back. And Michel sending it very late down the inside into turn 1. He's caught the Kickstarter napping there as the VNT man. He tries to go around the outside of 2. And in the end, Misha just holds on. That was so late on the brakes, trying to catch him off guard. He's going for a switch back into 4. The answer is he's not going to get his nose down the inside. Misha holds on for another day. Well, that was almost tears nearly, and Misha at least saw it at the very last second, opened the steering wheel ever so slightly, so it meant that there wasn't a wheel-to-wheel contact, which could have sent one, if not both of them round. So yes, both survive another day. Lap 4 out of 29. Monza has caught up to the back of the train, so we have 19 cars in this train. But it's a case of, yeah, how long do these soft tyres go? Who's going to be the first to blink? Undercut here is pretty powerful, and the drivers will want to take advantage. But again, it's like last week. You know, the fresher tyres are just so much quicker. So is the undercut even worth it?
Yeah, I think as soon as one of them, we'll see drivers just throw themselves into the pit as soon as one of them goes in. How long are we thinking these...
Oh, David's off. Not too sure what happened there for David. There's no wing damage or anything like that, and wasn't well, he's went to pit lane. That's in the tyre, isn't it? Yep, there we go. Saw that coming a million miles away. Not too sure what happened to him, whether if it was a snap, was the contact. He was near Fanna Spinoda, but I don't think he was anywhere near close enough for a move or anything, so I don't know if there's an issue there for David. But that's now 2 drivers retired, down to 18, and Schumacher has gone for the very early pit stop. 4 laps he's done on those softs, so 25 to go. It'll be a 12 and 13 lap stint but now we'll be able to see with fresh medium tyres what the pace difference is like between he and the rest of the field. It might now trigger some other people to make a pit stop, considering he was in that, well, he was at the back end of the mid-pack, as it were.
Well, Silo's passed Otsuzito and has tried to gap the Williams driver in that middle sector. It's now down to 7/10 of a second. Is this a ploy from Silo, or is this showing true pace just to get away? It's 8/10 of a second again. Not ideal. I was going to ask you, when do you think these drivers are going to pit? What's the medium range for your opinion?
Now.
But into the pits, a couple of drivers go, and one of them, crucially, being Uncle.
It did, yeah. I thought lap 5 would be the initial starting point. You do then 2 lots of 12 on the medium tyres. So I'm going to go extend that soft tyre just an extra lap at least. But yeah, Tony or Uncle there being the most notable of the front runners to go in for that early stop, along with Dirk, who was obviously right behind him. So Dirk does not want to lose out to Tony. Obviously, we would go back to Spain, where Dirk was in P2 comfortably, and in the end lost out near enough to. Because of a strategy call. Here comes Schumacher on his mediums. He's ahead of Epic Vale, who he's ahead of anyway. He's still behind, but this is a mid-pack really, wasn't it? From Uncle, that was P5. Then obviously Dirk was in behind him, so was Melvin, and Van Espinosa was, I believe, 9th or 10th when he pitted. So Schumacher being 9/10 off the back of Van Espinosa, he has gained time. That is for sure. He's probably got ahead of the likes of Adrian and Ray Wintz. Now that there's that 2.8 second gap because of those midfielders on the back end of the top 10 pitting. So Schumacher's, he's undercut at least for now. Does seem to have worked. What do the lead 4 drivers do as Silas lead around 8/10 of a second still as he tries to pull away? And indeed he does pit. Otsuzito stays out, but Volokongan and Snack also pit in. So Otsuzito going for another lap, maybe going to do 11 laps on those mediums and just stretch it out that little bit longer. He's going to have to hope he's got a bit of pace though. Obviously he does have the DRS down the main pit straight, but he's going to lose out on quite a few places. We'll see how this pans out for him, but where does Silo come out in, let's say, compared to where Uncle is?
There we go. Let's look at it from Uncle's point of view as they hurtle down the start-finish straight to start. Lap 7 for them. Schumacher, the quickest driver of all, as I try to struggle to get the words out. Silo still ahead of Uncle. Dirk, however, is ahead of Volokongan. That is how crucial that pit stop for them is there. I'm almost certain Otsuzito is going to come out maybe just behind Snack.
Yeah, and considering as well, got to bear in mind, Uncle was 1 place behind Snack. He's now 4 places ahead of him. So, first blood, you could say, at least on this for round 6 of this season, to Uncle over Snack, the 2 main championship protagonists as it currently stands. But Uncle though, 2 seconds off the back of Silo, and what this has done, because these 2 have jumped, as in Uncle and Dirk have jumped the rest of the field, and Otsuzito's not going to be anywhere near. Silo's got the gap now, and he can pull away, and he's not going to be under any threat. So this could be a case of, as I've said previously, you give Silo over a second out of DRS, and he's gone, and he is clear, and he's doing that now.
The only way this wouldn't happen if, as a swap for P2, Otsuzito, Adrian, and Ray Wintz staying out again. Is this a wise idea? Just behind is that Quantum dispatching of Nicholas, Nicholas trying to dispatch of Quantum, but it's not happening. Nicholas has got a better drive as they head through turn 3 towards turn 4. It's not happening at this moment in time, but Quantum really needs to make work of the 2 softer runners, or otherwise the strategy that these drivers have gone, oh my goodness, that was a big lock up there from Nicholas trying to find a way through. I know Nicholas was wanting to get past Quantum and showcase the pace that they've got, but surely you just wait for these 2 to pop into the pits.
Well, perhaps so, but I think at the same time he wants to show what pace he's got, and maybe he's got more pace compared to that Haas in front of me. It surprises me that these medium runners have not been able to get a move done on them, so maybe the softs are actually hanging on pretty well at the moment. I mean, Silo is 20.7 seconds behind Otsuzito. The gap is coming down. It's like a 10th nearly a corner, or about a 10th a corner at the moment, so it's not exactly Well, actually, you say that 16 corners in total, so yeah, it could add up to 1.5 seconds near enough. But are some of these drivers doing a one-stop here? Is that possible? It must be what they're doing. Well, not the three medium runners, obvious, but potentially, unless they are trying to. But is Otsuzito trying a one-stop here?
Brave driver if they are. I'm surprised the soft. I think the softs are hitting puncture territory about now, and 20. That would be 20 laps on a set of mediums, and that is. Ooh.
It's just about doable. It'd be touch and go, but it might be doable, especially if you are, obviously, what as we know in the F1 world as a tyre whisperer. So we'll wait and see how that goes. One thing that's not gone well is Schumacher. All those places he had gained, he's now lost already. He's back behind Epic Vale and Fana Spinoda and co. So, I mean, yeah, he's pulled away for Simrox 1. And Misha is another one who's lost out big style here. He was actually well ahead of Simrox 1, so I'm not too sure what's happened to Misha there, considering he was ahead of Fana Spinoda. And he's lost about 4 seconds. So answers on a postcard, please. I've missed that one. I'm quite comfortably say as well, Warder, that you may have missed something as well, unless you know what's happened to him.
No, I thought maybe front wing damage going into the pits. Maybe that's what happened, but without, unfortunately, no knowledge at all as we go on board again with this middle pack. And Otsuzito again deciding not to pit. And this could be a stroke of genius, but I thought if anyone would try this sort of strategy, it would be the season 20 champion of Volakongan, because they were a tyre whisperer and did everything they could, and Silo pulling away from Uncle, using those tyres to their advantage. Now, yeah.
It's a tricky one, isn't it? It's like, I mean, yes, they are gaining, don't get me wrong, as Volakongan's getting very close to the back of Dirk. He's thinking about a move around the outside of turn 2. You're going to have to wake up on the other side of the bed to try and, you know, catch Dirk off guard there, sorry, to go around the outside of turn 2, but at least it's with a fellow teammate as such that you can try it if you really want to, but they hold formation. But yeah, Uncle has lost about 7-8 tenths to Silo in about 3 laps or so, which doesn't sound like a lot, but in F1 terms it is a lot, and you're not going to catch on, you know, arguably the quickest driver on console by doing, you know, if you give him the gap, and that gap is just increasing, you know, lap by lap as he is. But Salo himself still 9 seconds off the back of the train in front. 16.8 seconds is the gap to the race leader Otsuzito, who stays out once again. But that is Adrian, who's gone off track, and there's the puncture that we've been talking about. It is that front left tyre, and well, that just shows how touch and go that it is to try this one stop. Adrian has tried it. It's not worked out for him. Monza, as a result, has pitted. Maybe he was on the verge of puncturing. But interestingly, the medium tyre runner of... who was it? I'm now trying to look at it, actually. Who was the medium tyre runner? Quantum goes into the pit, so he's committed to the 2-stop.
Has indeed. As we look at it from Silo point of view, it's 16 seconds between Otsuzito and themselves. So not changed too much. But if Otsuzito picks up a puncture at any stage between now and turn 15, even turn 16 to be perfectly honest, that could be really detrimental to them, as again, Silo is just pulling further and further away from Uncle behind. It's now 3.5 seconds, but that's crazy to think that Silo's doing that without DRS.
He does have the 1 lap fresher tyres, which will help to add to that ever so slightly. But Otsuzito stays out again. Adrian punctured, and this man is still going. I mean, fair play to him. He must be a tyre whisperer. And it must be the same with Ray Wintz as well, because he stays out as well. But he's going to let Nicholas go. He's going to let the medium tyre runner go. I'm keeping an eye on Volakongan still. Every same area through 1, 2, turns 3, 4, and 5. He gets so close to the back of that racing bull. Dirk in front of him. Quantum picks up a time penalty as the second driver to pick up a time penalty. He's taken 10 laps since Adrian got his. But yeah, Volakonga, with his 1 lap fresher tyres, is just so much quicker through this first section compared to his compatriot Dirk in front of him, but just can't get close, close enough to get a move done, and it is still as you were. So, but yeah, maybe if Volakonga was leading this train, could you think he might maintain that gap to Silo rather than, you know, Uncle losing those few tenths every lap or so? And again, I think, you know, Uncle's not doing a bad job. He's got the battery. It's a similar battery basically to what Silo has. It just, I think a lot of it is, quite a bit of it at least, is down to just that 1 lap fresher tyre.
Yeah, and that is crucial. This, if anything, on this track is just, or any track in F1, this is the track where just 1 lap will prove to be a difference maker as Silo. Now, well, Silo, I think, has gained 4 seconds in just under a lap and a half. So Otsazito stays out again and into the pits for some of the medium runners. Oh my goodness, Ray Wintz has managed to dispatch Wards in the pit lane. My goodness, that overtake of the season right there.
Yep. It's closed. Yeah, overtake of the season is closed. That is it. Done and dusted. I hope he keeps the position now coming out of the pits. Yep, he does. There we go. So yeah, VNT on VNT, and that is Ray Wintz doing it perfectly in comparison to his towards there. But yeah, well, he had to dodge the Ferrari, but he got it done. He got the car stopped and Wards is thinking, what have I just had to deal with, and what have I just witnessed there? But either way, still, so just the one driver now. Sorry, 2 drivers who have yet to stop. That is Otsazito out in front on his softs and Nicholas on his mediums. So both of these two, for sure, I think are committed to this 1 stop. But look at that front left tyre of Otsazito. It is screaming, I would say, as Adrian picks up his 2nd time penalty. It is well past beyond. You know, its 2nd life, as it were, let alone 3rd life. I think these softs are ready for the bid, but giving credit, he's done a fantastic job. Surely he's going to be paid this lap. Indeed he does. So Otsazito going for the 1 stop here. It's all down to what Silo can do. That gap is about 10 seconds. That's half a pit stop that he's gained, near enough back, but he's going to have to do it again. So keep an eye out at the last couple of laps of this race.
Yeah, Otsazito then. This is going to be a very, very interesting end to this one. As Otsazito coming out of the pits, and this is going to be crucial. Actually, I'll keep the gap to the leader. Where does Otsazito come out? Behind Quantum? Is it going to be behind Monza as well? It could very well be. That's very close at the exit of the entry into turn 1. And Otsazito probably didn't want to come out in 15th place. 17 seconds behind Silo and some work to do. It's not ideal. Otsazito had fresh air for so long as Adrian is out of the Grand Prix, and it's a safety car.
Oh, that has just ballsed up his strategy. That's his strategy gone out the window now. And that's all down to Adrian. Well, I'm not going to comment whether that was on purpose or not through the exit of turn 1 there. Considering he just picked up his 2nd time penalty and he's running in stone down last. But yeah, any chance of Otsazito may have had of winning this race? I mean, yes, he's on brand new mediums now, so he doesn't have to pit again, but everybody else will come into the pits now, put on a fresh set of boots, and everyone will just go to the end. Nicholas, though, is the other driver that's in a very bad predicament, because obviously he's going to have to put on some softs and then maybe go back to the medium, so he's going to have to do 2 stops. He will pretty much be at the back of the field. But Silo, well, surely they all just pit.
Yeah, you've got to pit. But I feel for Silo as well, who was doing so much work to catch back up. It's taken something away from this race, and that's...
Yeah.
I'm gutted.
It's taken, yeah.
For the spectacle that we could have had.
Yeah, for sure. It's taken away what, you know, could have been a last lap or 2 battle potentially between Silo closing in on Otsazito, you know, towards the end of this race. Monza picks up a penalty. Driver staying out. Interesting. At least, well, I suppose for Otsazito's case, he has got ahead of Silo and there's only 1 lap tyre difference. And bear in mind that his tyres maybe only did a third of a lap at full speed. So Nicholas is going to have to pit again. That is a certain, because he's not going to go on these softs to the end. So it will be Quantum in the lead of this race, going to try and take 4-lap old mediums to the end, the same as Monza. But then they will have Otzazito, Silo, Ray Wint stays out. Why not? He's only on 2-lap old mediums. And then everybody else in behind has pitted. Ward's on a set of softs. So yeah, no doubt he will pit again onto a set of mediums and try and, you know, use that 1-lap tyre offset to some form of advantage. But yeah, again, yeah, it just takes what we've been robbed of a potential climactic finish. We might still get one. I hope we do. But it's a case of, well, what could have been, and especially obviously, yeah, Silo had that gap to the, you know, the train behind him, and that's now gone and it's disappeared. But his only advantage is he has his technically Alpine teammate in behind him of Ray Wint between himself and Uncle.
I've got no words. I feel like we could still end up with an epic end of this Grand Prix, and I just don't think it would have been as good as what we could have had. I'm sad inside, Bobbits. No, let's not go down that route. But yeah, it's a shame, but it's now down to Silo to make it worthwhile again. Okay, he's got half a lap tyre better difference than Otzazito ahead, but we saw maybe Nicholas maybe wants to make this an interesting Grand Prix.
I mean, is he really going to try and take these soft tyres to the end? No surprises, Wards does go into the pits, considering he was stalled there last. But yeah, Nicholas surprises me there, staying out on his soft tyres. Can you get these 14 laps, my friend? I highly doubt it. But, you know, give it a good go at least, and I salute you for it, unless you do pit halfway in between. Wards, in fact, actually goes on back to the set of mediums that he was on. So, in fact, he's actually got 1 lap older tyres now compared to the majority of the field. So, hey-ho, is what it is. Maybe he was best just staying out and actually maybe having track position. But what do I know?
Yeah, well, you've got a better understanding than me. Yeah, I have no words.
Warder is lost for words. He can't think of anything at this moment in time. He doesn't know what to think or say.
Error 37 or whatever it is.
Yeah, we'll go with that. But the one thing that, I'm interested to see what Nicholas is going to do here. He'll obviously want to try and get some moves done, try and get the lead of the race, and see if he can pull away at all, being on the quicker tyre. It's not a guarantee, obviously, considering that we did see that there wasn't really much pace difference between the two tyres, even within, the medium tyre runners at the start of the race were able to keep within the soft tyre runners DRS there. It is difficult at the best of times to, pull a second, as the safety car is going to come in at the end of this lap. So we will have 13 racing laps to go in this Qatar Grand Prix, just over half race distance, and it will be Quantum who will decide when to put pedal to the metal on his controller to get us back underway. But yeah, 2 drivers that started pretty much at the back of the field are now 1-2.
Who'd have thought that? Or who'd have got that on? Who had that? Their bongo card list? Anyway.
Oh god, that's a new one as well.
Here is Monza. Clipping the back end of Quantum, and that's allowed Quantum to bolt. Should keep it interesting through there. Silo and Ray Wint are side by side.
Ray's going for a move. Surely not. Is he going to go for it on his teammate? Silo's going to have none of this. This contact. Silo goes wide after a bit of wheel bagging between the pair of them. He's not wanting to give that position up. He holds on. But wow, Ray there with a fantastic jump on his fellow Alpine Uncle, now trying to get him moved on, and Ray's just turned it too tightly into the first, turn 4 there. And that's a lunge from Uncle, nearly down the inside. He clips the back, and here comes Dirk now. They're on the outside, all the block tyres. They're side bagging each other. That's not the right way to put that at all. But Dirk actually has got the move done on Uncle, and Uncle, trying to get a move done on Ray, has now dropped behind Dirk.
Oh my goodness me. What a way this Grand Prix heating up. Uncle is squabbling away.
Silo's
Ray gets
wide.
past Silo. Side by side again. This is not doing Silo's chance of race victory any good, but it's giving Otsazito the absolute perfect impetus to get through and going. Silo struggling a little bit, maybe heating those tyres up to where they need to be right now. As let's go to Otsazito, because Otsazito look like they may be squaring up Monza for an overtake.
Indeed, yeah, as that is Fanny Spinola getting moved on at the final corner of Schumacher into turn 16. The kicks Alba, though, is he's probably not going to have any of that. Will Fanny Spinola have to defend? The answer is he does pull to the inside. That's Otsazito, though, going into P2. He clears the first of the slightly older medium tyre runners. And Nicholas, even on his soft tyres, is not able to do anything at all. And again, just showing us to why. Oh, is he pulling off? Is he letting him through? He's let Silo go. Interesting.
This is a very, very bold strategy from Nicholas. Or maybe Nicholas is realising that he shouldn't be on the softs.
Yeah, I think he's certainly realising that as Silo tries to go for a move down the inside there in Monza, he needs to stick with Otsazito as best as he can. Quantum still leads the way. He's held on for a couple of laps, but the fast-charging Otsazito is on his tail. Monza slipping back a little bit as Dirk, up the inside of the of Ray Wins. He sticks his nose in there. There was no space at all. He wasn't alongside enough. And that, unfortunately, as Ray Wins gone sideways, his tyres are absolutely cooked. He's now at the rear of the field. Well, he's had a very chaotic restart to this race, as Ray, almost passing his teammate on a number of occasions, and in the end, he's now, one move too many, I think it's fair to say.
Into the pits, and there goes Otsazito taking the lead, and now it's a two-car sandwich between Silo and Otsazito, and Silo getting frustrated by Monza, unable to find a way through. Otsazito has managed to get through there, and in the background, Uncle trying to get through Dirk. But in all this, the championship leader will extend from Snack, because Snack is in 11th place.
Indeed, yeah, and that all stems down to that first pit stop where, Uncle pit a lap earlier. Compared to Snack, he was replaced behind him, but ended up being 4 places ahead of him, and that is still the same. It's still the same outcome as Nicholas at one moment was over a second behind Silo, he's trying to get this move done on Monza, who is defending for his absolute life here. Otsazito, who has broken the DRS to Quantum, who now is just trying his damnedest to, he's not going to catch him back up, but Monza is doing his damnedest to stick within the DRS of Quantum, so he does not give Silo a chance in through turn 1. He's actually got a little bit more battery compared to the Alpine behind him, so Silo is not going to get a move done at this stage. He's on the battery now. DRS will be open. Otsazito sets the fastest lap of the race. No surprise there at all. Silo closing. Now we're going to go into none, and he's not close enough. I'm saying that, though, obviously the 2 in front of him do have penalties, so he is in that P2 as it currently stands. But he's got to watch out, because Nicholas's softs will die off eventually, and he's then going to have Dirk, Uncle, Volokong, and Melvin, and obviously his best friend from last week, Epic Vale, closing in behind.
Darted up the inside as Silo desperate to make the move. Monza's going to try holding it up the inside. I thought that was going to be a late lunge from Monza, but not happening on this occasion. And finally, out of all that, Silo is up into P3 on track right now. And next on the hit list is Quantum. Needs to, probably use the DRS down the start-finish straight. But is it too little too late to take victory this evening for Silo? It's 2 seconds between Quantum and Otsazito. Silo's got to throw literally everything, including the kitchen sink, maybe a couple of camels at it as well.
That's an interesting... the kitchen sink, I get that, but camels, I mean, okay.
They're in Qatar, aren't they?
Well, yeah, they are. They certainly are. There's nothing to say they're not, but they also have you know, the oil shake money, so you've got your supercars out there as well. But either way, we'll go with Camels as Silo now lines up Quantum here for P2. I don't think Quantum's going to defend this. He's not used any battery. He allows the Alpine to go alongside and get ahead of him back onto the racing line. That is Silo now up into P2 on track. 2.1 seconds is the gap now. He has to try and close up on the race leader of Otzazito. Can Quantum, with his much bigger battery percentage, is he able to stick with that Alpine? But through those first few corners, I think the simple answer to that is no. He's got to hope that Monza can keep those drivers behind him, so Quantum might have a chance of a decent points finish, but obviously he does have that penalty to consider. That's looming over his head. 1.8 seconds now, the gap out in front between the top two. So Silo showing his pace now that he's got that bit of clean air, and can he close down that Williams?
Well, time will tell, and up the inside is Dirk on Nicholas, but it's not happening on this occasion. That could put Dirk into trouble with Uncle as they go around the outside. Oh my goodness, how close do these guys want to get this evening? As they're coming through 14, Dirk holds on to the position, which then allows Volokongan, to attack Uncle. It's just a concertina effect. When someone makes a mistake, it forces the driver behind to make a mistake, and it just allows drivers to get closer and closer as Schumacher picks up a 3-second time penalty for their trouble.
Indeed, yeah, trying to go around the outside of Van der Spinnova at the final corner, trying to get that move done back on the McLaren, but went too wide as a result. That is Snack trying to get a move I've just seen in the foreground. Moved on an epic veil here. He's now on the outside for 2. Might get a little switch back here through 3. A bit of a twitch there though on the exit. That's going to cost him any chance of a run there into turn 4. And Snack getting frustrated, I think, being stuck in this midfield pack where he believes he should not be. But that's just how it is. Sometimes you gain from it, you know, from VSCs and safety cars, and sometimes you lose out big style. And unfortunately for Snack, P2 in the standings, he's lost out big style, and he can't get a move done on the drivers in front because we've just got this train. That is Dirk, who's made a big mistake, lost traction somehow through the exit of 7 and 8. And Tony goes, thank you very much, I will take P6. That was the easiest move he's going to make all race, and it puts another car now in between him and Snack.
It's not ideal, and the Shazoo drivers failing failing Snack right now to help keep Uncle in tow. Silo has closed the gap to 1.4 seconds. Silo's throwing everything at it. Into the pits is Quantum, maybe to retire from the race, but that's Snack into the points finally.
It is Snack into the points. So yeah, interesting one for Quantum pitting now. I think he must have thought, well, there was absolutely no point me going on to the soft side, the mediums. I mean, he is a controller runner, so obviously his tyre wear, I know Quantum's tyre wear isn't the best at the best of times, so perhaps he had no choice and no alternative but to go on, you know, to stay out on those mediums and then go to the softs. And well, so it's unfortunate for Quantum that safety car came out. Monza though, is he going to stay out to the end of this race? We'll wait and see. He was on lap 23 out 29, gap out in front down to 1.2 seconds. 1.3 seconds now between Otzazito and Silo. So Silo closing that gap little by little every single lap. Battery percentage is pretty much exactly the same between the pair of them. This is just all down to this pace and the half a lap tyre offset difference that they have between them. 5 seconds is then the gap back to Monza, who's in P3 at the moment. But then he's got this train all the way down from him to Simbarox one in P15 with a McLaren there on soft tyres still. Nicholas surely can't take these to the end, can he? Or can he, as Dirk trying to sneak down the inside of Uncle there in through 14. He's got a good run through 50. Can he get close enough to that Mercedes to get a move done? The answer is no. Uncle now trying to get close to the back of that McLaren in front of him, but can Nicholas get a move done on Monza in front of him? This technically is for P3 as it currently stands, but he's not close enough. Nobody is close enough to make a move done on anybody, not even Volokongan is. So it's as you were. The cars are getting closer and closer, and here comes Volokongan now on the outside of 2 on Dirk, trying to take that Williams around the outside of the racing ball. Just didn't quite work out.
No, not on this occasion. And well, we've seen time and time again, Volokongan will not hold punches back, even for Shazoo teammates. And just in the background there, Epic Vale having a look at Melwin as well. Did that actually go through in the end? Epic Veil through on Melvin.
It did, yeah. Melvin went wide. I think he'd locked up or outbroke himself going into the hairpin of 5. And Epic Veil just said, thank you very much, the latest one, to take advantage of a driver making a mistake. Snack now all over the back of that Ferrari. Everyone is so close to the back of each other. Here comes Snack. He's a 10th off the back of that Ferrari in front of him. How they all don't make contact with each other. There's a little bit of contact there as I just say that. Snack tries to avoid that Ferrari. He's going to watch out. He's got Fala Spinoda in behind him. Yes, he does have that penalty, so he might not want to go for the move, but still going to have to be careful nonetheless. In the meantime, gap now in front down a half a second. Silo's got the DRS on the back of Otsazito. Keep an eye on that as this race unfolds, because there won't be any moves done just yet, I think, between those two until the final lap or so. But again, Monza is just able to hold off Nicholas, who can't get close enough, which means nobody else is close enough to make a move on anybody else in front of them.
Absolutely crazy. Quantum quickest driver of all, but that's unsurprising with fresh off at the end of the Grand Prix. But we'll stay with this battle for P3 on track, and because I don't see Silo making a move on Otsazito for another lap or two. Try and play this DRS game, because that's another thing that's important here.
It certainly is, yeah. I mean, they don't have to worry about anybody behind. They've got over 7 seconds to the Monza, who's doing his damnedest to, well, if he can get his penalty removed, then, you know, fair play to him. If not, then he's just trying to get the best result he can, which, unfortunately, at this rate, is going to be P15, I believe, as it currently stands. Maybe 14, with Wards being a little bit further back. But yeah, Silo 3/10 off the back of the Williams with Otsazito in front. But not really. Is he going to be interested to make a move this time around? Not too sure. Snack and Fana Spinoda getting very close between the pair of them. Let's go on board with the Alpine of Silo. Is he going to go for a move? He is. He's closing, you know. He's closing. He's closing. Is he going to set it down the inside? He is, you know. Down the inside goes the Alpine on the Williams. We're side by side through turn 1. We're not quite fully alongside, though. Otsazito's got the inside for 2 there, and he holds on to fend him off. Maybe the best option is to be out in front.
Yeah, well, maybe tyre life and tyre wear will...
Oh, Schumacher's gone.
Oh, not another safety car, surely.
No.
Is it puncture?
No, it's a spin, and there's wing damage. There's wing damage on the entry to turn 1 there, and that is of the Kicks Albert of Schumacher. He was around... He was behind Fana Spinoda, who's not got any damage at all.
Why is he defending Quantum going into turn 4 there? That's very, very odd. Again, Silo very quick through it, but sticking to the back end of Otsazito at the moment in time. As let's see how close Silo gets, because this is crazy close.
It's crazy close, and what's even worse to think about this, it's our 2 predictions for the race win here tonight. They're 1 and 2, 8.8 seconds clear of the rest of the field, and yeah, 3 laps to go come the end of this lap. Otsazito going to fed. He's trying to break the toe there. He's allowed to do that. He can't go again, though, or else that will technically be breaking a rule. Here comes Silo, though. Is he going to send it down the inside again? It's a repeat of last time, but he's a little bit further alongside. He slides into turn 1 to try and get that car stopped. We're side by side through 2. Has he got the grip around the outside? Yes, he does. Silo, has he got the inside for 3? He has. He leads.
Wow, it's, well, Silo showcase, well, both drivers showcasing how you can go side by side through 1, 2 and into 3, into the pits for Schumacher to retire. Now Silo has to, well, show that they're able to lead and keep ahead. Lap 27 of 29, not long left to go for Otsazito to get one back over on Silo.
Indeed, yeah, he's got to try and stick to him like glue now, but you can already see that little bit of difference between the pair of them in terms of just that grip and traction out the corners. And yeah, it's a few hundreds, but that's all that you need to do, and this is the biggest the gap has been between the pair of them for at least the last 5 laps. Silo trying to now save that battery through this final sector. Otzito trying to close in. Monza still holding on to P3. Uncle was so close to Nicholas there. I thought he was going to send it down the inside. Worth bearing in mind, Simbrox 1 is missing a hell of a lot of his front wing. So I wonder if it was him that hit the back of Schumacher, or it was them two that collided as Dirk picks up a time penalty. P6 on track. Not what he wants. A race for him that's just gone downhill slightly, and it's now got even worse, and he has a twitch through the final corner. This might open the door for Volokongen now to get a move done on the inside into turn 1. Is the Norwegian got to be close enough to send it down the inside? Nicholas, though, is close enough to nearly send it down the inside of Monza, but not quite close enough in the end. I'm surprised these two are still going. 17 laps on those mediums for Monza. Yes, there's been a few laps of safety car. These softs have gone 13 laps, and he's still going, and he's still hanging on there, and Uncle's not been close enough to get a sniff in.
Yeah, this is crazy. Uncle again going, well, gets very close to the back end of Nicholas in this middle sector. Dirk has got it. That is Thomas Ronhart at its peak in Qatar last season, the last game cycle, as desperately trying to get any way through the GT10 driver of Uncle, as it's not happening at the moment for Dirk.
No, it certainly is, and he's then trying to go for a gap that just wasn't really there, but contact made, but thankfully both of them get away with it and live to fight another day. Penultimate lap, 1 corner. We're about to start the final lap. Otzito was 3.5 tenths off the back of Silo. A very poor final corner, though. He's lost 2 tenths from that, and I don't think Silo's going to have to defend this going in towards turn 1. I think he is absolutely safe to have to defend this. I say that, I could be talking absolute nonsense, just about enough to hold on there, and, well, we'll go on board with them a little bit later on. Is Nicholas close enough to get the move done on Monza? Out on track, is he the closest he's been to go for P3 on track? And Nicholas goes down the inside of the Mercedes driver who's been there for so long. Monza hangs it right around the outside. Contact between the pair of them. Monza has the outside for turn 2, and on the inside for 3 there's more contact. Uncle might take advantage from this with 3 wide going into 4. Can Uncle take the pair of them? No, but he goes ahead of Nicholas.
Absolute scenes at the end, and that's just perfect for Uncle. Nicholas does not go for a late dive on Uncle in the end there, as Otzito still follows Silo through this one. Monza has P3 on track, but it will be what would probably be classed as an unlikely podium for Uncle to extend the championship lead, as they keep on fighting through this middle sector into turn 10. They go. Somehow Nicholas is keeping those soft tyres on in such good racing conditions as well. Fair play to the VNT driver through all this, but it would be rude, it would be unprofessional not to go on board with Silo, who chased down a 2.5 second gaps to Otzito after the safety car to take victory here. Back to the other drivers. Monza's going to take P3 on track. Uncle will take P3 because of that penalty, and there's a squabble of cars in the background. Is Epic Vale going to make a move of Volokongen in the end? No, but there's a Ferrari into the wall, and my goodness me, what a crazy end to the Grand Prix.
It was brilliant, as that's a lagging Simrox 1 in the background there, but yeah, that was we thought we were rude of a potential battle there, and in the end we weren't, and it was the two people we thought had a chance of winning this based off the strategy and the gaps. And in the end, Silo gets it 1 over on Otzito. So at least you can say tonight, Warner, you beat me on the race winner prediction rather than the track prediction. So, yeah, we'll call it equal for tonight. But it is Silo, your reigning champion, who wins here in Qatar tonight from Otzito. And yes, Uncle, with a very unlikely P3 in the end, considering where he was out on track, to get P3 is a fantastic job. Well done by him. Nicholas, though, getting P4. I mean, that full play and fair credit to him. Obviously, yes, got help with the safety car. I did say that at the beginning of the stream, don't discount those at the back of the field. But I think he might be ruining that bit of contact with Monza, because he could have had a P3 himself.
Definitely one quick last blast of the order. Silo, Otzito and Uncle on the podium. Then Nicholas, Volokongen, Epic Vale, Melwin, Snack, Monza and Misha rounding out the point scoring finishes. Then Wards, Dirk, Fannis Spinoda, Quantum and Simbarox 1 from the finishers. Non-finishers to Schumacher, Ray Wintz, Adrian, David and Kevin Zunnerberg. Yeah, it was about time I got one over on you on winning on one of these guessing games. My God. Phew, what a decision. And fair play to what's Zeta. Right, okay. There's a few things I want to cut off on this one. Driver of the day, definitely. Game gave it to Monza. Fair. I can understand why, because Monza went through the field and took advantage of everything. Zito, bold strategy to do a one stop, but also who was the other one? Finished fourth. I want to say Ray, but it wasn't. Nicholas. But also Ray for overtaking Nicholas in the pit lane as well. It was crazy. Loads of things to talk about.
Certainly was. It wasn't, I said about Qatar being potentially a dullish kind of race with it being just a DRS fest or might not even be close enough to make a move. And yeah, there were moments where we had that, but we also had some fantastic action there. Not just least obviously the pit lane overtake. Teammate, VNT driver on VNT driver. You had the great battle between obviously the two leaders at the end, the battle for P3, and Carnage in the mid pack as well. So that the race kind of it did pretty much have everything you nearly could have asked for, bar rain, obviously, which you're not likely to get here, but we don't have it this season as it is anyway. So yeah, good race, and at least for Silo,
insane drive from Silo tonight.
Yeah, it certainly was. They called the strategy right, at least of those who were going on the two-stopper. But obviously, we were rude of the fact of, would he have closed down Otzazita with the different strategies that they were on? In the end, it knew enough balanced out when the safety car came out. And yeah, you could arguably say that. And, I mean, it was only one lap at the very most, if you really want to be pedantic, the tyre offset between them. But he had the pace to close down 2 seconds to Otzazito, and I think that alone is enough to show why he was deserved to win tonight with that pace. Obviously, Nicholas got helped out with the safety car, did well to get those softs to the end of the race, but Tony, our uncle, he will be the happiest of the lot considering where he was, and with Snack being in P8 in the end after penalties, has really extended that lead that obviously was really getting diminished.
Certainly, and well, it's good for Uncle, but maybe not in the sense of just seeing how dominant, and not only Otzazito was, but Silo was here this evening as well. Now, there are, I want to say 12 tracks to choose from. Could be wrong. Is it 10? It's 10 tracks to choose from for the next 4 rounds of the season. Abu Dhabi, Austria, Belgium, Brazil, Imola, China, Mexico, Saudi Arabia, Singapore, and Spain. Where do you think it's going to be, Bobbers?
I'm going to continue a little bit. I am going to continue with the theme of alternating. So I'm going Singapore.
So the track I chose last week is probably going to be the track for next week.
You never know.
I will do Saudi then, and see if there is.
If by chance I did get it right, you have to then get every single of the last 3 correct just to draw.
Yeah. And the 3 points are going to Bobbett's way.
I'm not really a betting man, but I mean, I do the lottery, but that's about it.
Yeah, I think that. Well, I do stupid £1 accumulators, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
So there we have it. We unfortunately don't have the standings to hand to just go through how clinical that race was, but how would you round that one off, Bobbers?
Like I said just before, it was as ever chaotic first lap, mellowed. Then we went thinking obviously about the tyre strategies, etc. And then the safety car, after we think it might have rued us of a potential, classic, let's say, maybe in the end we actually got what we deserved and what we wanted. So good race, again just shows the testament and the great overtake obviously by Salo, and fair play to Zito for trying to stick it out there, but being fair, giving him the space, and that just shows the difference between two class drivers at the front of the field compared to maybe some of the shenanigans in the midfield.
Definitely. Well, Uncle might have extended the championship lead, but Silo has just reminded everyone that, well, they are the reigning champion for a reason. Even round 7 of this championship will continue the same place, same time next week. But for myself and Bob, thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.